Hello, my dear children. It's me, your Messiah, here again. And today I think we're going up these mountains right here. It's quite the river we have to cross. So I think we're going to take a bridge over there and just walk alongside the other side of the river, and we'll take it from there. So I'll see you whenever I see you. I have to cross a spooky bridge. So yeah, it's a new one over there, but I find the old one more attractive. Today I would like to talk about truth. And let's start with a definition of truth. Truth is that which is. It's not what's not, because that is not truth, and everything that is not truth is a lie, and it disappears because it doesn't exist. Truth is the only thing that exists, and it's the only thing that can exist. And there are multiple kinds of truth. There are three kinds, as far as I have thought of, at least. And that is the objective truth, which is the event itself. Then there's the subjective truth, which is how someone feels about the event. I'm sorry, it's very windy today, but I think you'll survive. And there's the third kind, which encompasses these two. It's the all-encompassing truth, which is both the objective and the subjective truth put together. That is the whole. And truth, in essence, is nature. Because nature cannot act on a lie. A lie can be true in the moment. For example, lower probability compared to higher probability. If you roll a dice, then it's probable that it's going to land. It's a 1 in 6 chance for it to land on a 1. But if it lands on 1 the first time, then that's improbable compared to, or it's just as probable as landing on every other thing, but it can land twice in a row, and that's improbable. And that would be a lie in saying that it's gonna land on a 1 every time because of prior experience. So it's always the same chance. But as time goes on, truth will reveal itself and show that the die only has a 1 in 6 chance of landing on the 1. Yup. And you can also see this in nature. For example, when water flows down from a mountain and makes a lake like that, they're in the lowest possible region of that place. It's a lie, but it's also a truth, because it's the lowest place in that particular area, so therefore water will flow to that area. However, when it flows up and it gets full, it's going to stream down to another place, because it's trapped, in a sense, in this little pocket of stability for itself. And it's the same thing with when you're walking across a swamp, that you got these little places you can walk, and you have to test them out. And if it's true that it's true ground, then it holds, and if it's not, then you're gonna sink down and get wet on your feet. So not the most terrible lie, but you have to test out the truth and not just trust your senses that, oh, the last one it stood its ground, so the next one probably will as well. Because in essence, truth is nature and truth is life. or life is truth. It's one of the two at least. The question is really, is life prior to truth, or is truth prior to life? I think that truth is prior to life, at least life in this universe, as life came out of truth, which is that which is. So the universe started with a bang, poof, and then there was nothing but truth, because everything acted in accordance with itself. Everything cannot act on anything else but itself, everything, because if it acted on anything else, it wouldn't be everything. So for life to exist, there has to be truth, because if truth didn't exist, then life wouldn't have anything to build on. Now, what is truth, or where to find truth? It's quite simple. It's you. You are truth. You cannot see your own eyes and you cannot bite your own teeth, but just as you can't experience truth because you are it, you are truth. And if you weren't, well, that would mean that you were a lie. And if you were a lie, then you wouldn't be, and you wouldn't experience things. Oh, back at a swamp yet again, trying to not get my feet wet. All right, I think that's a clip. It's hella windy, but let's start to move through the forest and start the ascent. So, why bother with this concept of truth? Because it is the only thing we have that is substantial. If we don't act according to truth, then we're acting according to something that's not truth. And that's not very good. So, whose truth shall we act upon? Because there are many different interpretations and experiences of truth, but no one has got the whole thing. One thing that bothers me in these days and ages is the transgender movement. Not the people themselves, but their warped sense of reality, according to my view at least. Because gender is, if that's something inside of us, it's not expressed in this reality, this material reality, and that's completely fine. But if we try to define things with the language in this reality that we try to explain with this reality, then that's a very dangerous path to tread on. We have to agree on what truth is and where it lies, especially when you're trying to communicate with other people. Who has the definition, the might of the definitions? And if you don't know who does that, you should ask them to help you get a truer sense of reality, or try to come to an agreement of what reality is and where it lies between you two. Because in their eyes, the transgendered people who think they are something other than their physical appearance give the appearance of, you have to ask them, okay, whose sense of reality is more important? Is it your? Is it mine? Is it equal? Because if it's equal, then you can have a disagreement, and that should be perfectly fine, because that has to do with freedom of speech. Not only that, but more important, freedom of thought. You have to be able to challenge every single thought that every single person, even yourself, especially yourself, can create. Because if you don't challenge your own thoughts and others, then you are very easily deluded into thinking something that is not true. But truth will always prevail. Because a lie, in essence, is self-destructive. It cannot stand on its own. It has to lie on a truth in order to stay standing. And this is where truth is life is coming in the picture. Because truth is that which stands throughout the eons, through the generations, with life. And the best thing that the transgenders can do in staying alive is through ideology. That's the only thing they can do if they get their genitals snipped off and make themselves sterile, which it essentially does with very many people. Sterilizes them from a young age, as long as there are kids in there. And I'm treading on very thin ground now, thin ice. That's okay, I'll take the risk. So this ideology that is transgenderism, which is a religion in and of itself, that you place your gender identity above all else, it's self-destructive, as it cannot survive more than a few generations, because it doesn't work in the long run. It might work for a couple of generations, but not for eons. Life has been on Earth for over 3.5 billion years. The human race is merely a blip, and you have now the chance to make yourselves eternal. And the transgender movement is not part of that yet, as we don't have the technology to make a man a female, depending on how you watch or how you define a male or a female. As someone can feel like something, but we don't have the technology yet. So I completely agree that people can probably feel like females or males, or both, I don't know. But as part of human evolution, it's not mature yet. Now all you do is butcher yourself. So you're pioneers if you're a transgender, but you are doomed to fail, as the biological role of a man or a female is to pass along the information both up here and in here, and you can't do that very well with only the information, because if no one had proper sex or made babies, I should say, then there would be no one there to incorporate this information. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And maybe that's not everyone's goal. We have to try different things. We have to try different things that are impossible, in order to further the human species. But I think this is in the wrong direction. Now it's windy again. I'll see you on the top. Alright, I lied. This video is way too long already, so I'll make a part 2, and I'll keep talking. Next episode is gonna be about language. Alright, see you then.